Kaze, let them drums talk.
What's up guys, it's your boy Kaze of KazeBeat.com. Welcome to the video. Today I'll be showing you how to create beautiful ethnic melodies and how to get insane drum bounce. I'll be referencing a Pyrex Whippa song that was produced by Southside on Blood on the Hills. It's called Came From Nothing. If you guys haven't heard it yet, then definitely go check that out. My main inspiration for this beat actually comes from the game called Witcher. Last year, a couple years ago, there was a Netflix series called The Witcher that came out, and the theme song is something that I'll be referencing and getting inspiration from. If you guys play Xbox or PlayStation, then you may be familiar with The Witcher. There are going to be three main things that we go over in this video tutorial today. You're going to learn keys to creating ethnic melodies and the right VSTs to use to get that ethnic sound. You'll learn keys to building really hard drums that knock, and also how to get the right drum bounce. You're also going to be learning keys to mixing these melodies and sound design tips to try to get everything to blend together right. Top of all that, I'll be dropping other gems about sound design and mixing in general. So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, we are in FL Studio. We're going to be doing this beat at 115 BPM. We're going to use a minor harmonic scale in the key of B. We know that we're going to be making an Asian melody, and so we're kind of limited to a handful of instruments that we can combine and use to try to create that vibe. For the main melody, we're pretty much going to be limited to contact. Omnisphere has flutes and other VSTs have some flutes as well, but they're still kind of on more of a synthetic or just like an electro vibe. The kind of flutes and the strings that we want need to sound authentic, and so you're really only going to be able to get that through contact. This VST that I got pulled up is called Django Gypsy Guitar, and I'm using the lead guitar right now. This isn't specifically an Asian instrument, but it has Eastern vibes, kind of like Eastern European, and there's a way that we can mix this guitar so that it gets the vibe that we're going for. Now, I've got a little melody in my head, and I could play it on the keyboard, but I'm just going to click it out for you guys. Da, 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 dun, da.
Holy shit!
Alright, so here's the overall idea and the basic direction I want to take the melody. So I'm going to take these and extend them out. The next instrument that we're going to layer is going to be a Koto, and again we'll be using another contact bank. In my opinion, this is one of the best Koto VSTs because it comes with 9 different articulations. I already started a pattern here, and I don't want the Koto to run throughout the entire melody. I just wanted to come into sections and blend in with the main guitar. The other thing that I'm doing is doubling up some of these notes. Like you see this F sharp and this B3. I'm also staggering the timings. This is just to give a little strum effect, a more realistic effect. All I'm doing here is using my ears to find the right intervals to add in. This is what everything looks like together. I took the lead guitar part and I exported it, so I've got this gypsy guitar lead down here. We're gonna go back to that contact bank that had the guitar. I'm gonna change the articulation to octave because I wanna have one more faint layer of guitar in this melody. And it sounds like this. I'm just lowering the velocities of these notes so that I can just kind of push them more into the background. The main thing that I did here was I just tightened up the sound. I cut off any harsh frequencies in the high end and then any weird frequencies on the low end. And then I ran all of them through some reverb on a parallel track so I get this kind of nice floaty sound. and it's not nearly as harsh as what it was before. The next VST that we're going to use is a flute, and flutes are kind of hard to get, especially if you're trying to use omnisphere like a mellotron flute. They're not really going to get you that ethnic vibe, that realistic vibe that you want. So it's highly recommended to look for some kind of VST on contact that has flute phrases. These phrases in particular that are made by SonyScore, they're all modeled after a professional flute player, so they have that realistic sound, and this is just my go-to every time I need a flute. There's actually only one flute phrase that I want. So next up I got this bass. It sounds kind of like a Reese bass. Retail bass sounds pretty good, but it sounds like some of the notes are changing abruptly, so we can actually slide them into each other to smooth that out, and I'll show you how to do that real quick. I added a really tight EQ like this. The next thing I want to do is to show you guys how to process the flute sounds so we get a more sampled vibe, I guess. I've got a sloped EQ like this, cutting off some of that low end. And obviously we're gonna have to use RC20. On the EQ, I'm gonna cut off some of that high end. The reason why I'm making the sound darker is because I want the guitars to kind of be the sound that's sitting on top, and then the flutes sandwiched somewhere in the middle, and then we got the bass and then all the drums and stuff. I feel like right there it's blended in pretty nice. So now we're gonna go over to my parallel track and we'll put on Valhalla Vintage Reverb. Best reverb in my opinion, but not the only one. You could get away with any other reverb. I like having my reverb on a parallel track because I can do cool things like pan it to the left. And lastly, we can adjust how much signal we're sending to the reverb track. So I'll turn it down some more. But next, we're gonna move on to the drums. The 808 that I'm starting out with actually comes from a Cash Money AP kit, and I chose this one because it sounds like the Spins 808. Scratch all these B's I put in. We're gonna make them E's. That's more like it. Gonna use a rim for the snare. That's a pro move. I also want to layer something else on top of the rim. This definitely is not a Pyrex beat unless we're doing the whole Stairmaster thing on the hi-hats. Alright, so I'm going to do a little Stairmaster roll right here. So you just paint these notes like that. And a really easy way to pitch these down is to go to the bottom left to control and do fine pitch and just paint that Stairmaster in. It also helps to lower your velocities as you do that, get that effect. I added in several different rims, some snares, got some perks. And there's really nothing secret about the placement. I just kind of did it in a visual sense where I looked at where my 808s were. I'm just going to play through this pattern and y'all can listen to where I put the snares and extra stuff. This particular perk right here, I was actually inspired by that Cardi B song WAP or WAP, however you want to pronounce it. It's like this little stutter perk that comes up right before the snare comes. Also on the perks, I try to pan them left or right in my gain staging just to make sure that I don't get too many sounds that are just stacking on top of each other. We're not going to go too crazy on the kicks, we're pretty much going to follow the 808s, so just do after me. All I want to say about the kicks is I've got this process chain and I'm feeding it into this final kick, and then I'm just pushing all the volume into a clipper. Then I'm using this peak controller that's linked back to this 808 bus here. Before I go ahead and mix this more and then arrange it more, I want to just thank you for getting to this part of the video. I do put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and it would really help out a lot if you could subscribe to the channel to support the Kame House. If you have any questions, you can hit me up on IG at kazebeat, or you can just comment down below and I promise I'll get back to you. Oh yeah, I'll be dropping a drum kit once I hit 1,000 subscribers. This is going to be the very first drum kit / melody loop kit that I ever dropped, so I'm pretty excited about that. Please stay tuned. We're trying to get this money together, and as always guys, I'll see you soon. Peace.
Oh, it's 'cause I let them drums talk.